All right, so this is Jason Trost, writer, director, actor, and all kinds of other things in FP2 Beats of Rage, and with me is.
Talay Wickham. I'm also acting in this, and I produced it with Jason.
Now, that title card that you just saw was something we added after a couple of screenings because, believe it or not, people don't understand that this movie's a comedy sometimes, and that definitely helps them realize that, you can have fun with this.
Although it is a very serious film.
Correct. Now, here we are with, we've got the smoke, and we've got the map, and the embers,
Who
and
did this map?
Uh,
This
it,
is an FP
yes,
original.
This was actually an FP native named Adam Angel, and he is the artist of this map. I gave him like a really rough sketch of my version of a Lord of the Rings map, and then he came back with this, which actually just looked like the Lord of the Rings map, and that was incredible. Now there's like a good 3 or 4 movies worth of locations on that map if you scan it nice and close. Of course, the FP. And now here we are over the actual FP, which is crazy. Since the first movie, drones were invented.
Mm.
And as you'll tell throughout this feature, we use them quite a bit. And this was lucky. This is just over where we shoot most of the movie. We just sent the drone up into the clouds and came over this on accident. And we're like, well, I guess that's the beginning of the movie. That's
Is
no.
that sunrise or sunset?
I think that's actually sunset. We sent everyone home, and then we just started using the drone. Now here is Brew Muller, who we love, who I've worked with for many years and things, and it was a pleasure bringing him back as Nitro here in this Conan-esque opener with your shitty green screen and all, which is definitely a deliberate moment here to make it look. I mean, if you've seen Conan the Barbarian with Arnold, you'll know this moment right away. And that is Samantha Trost playing young me, and Samantha Trost is my little sister. And she's killing it. I think in a lot of ways she does a lot better than I do in this movie. And here we are with the boots. Now, if you notice that these look different, and these are like our souped up, upgraded version of the boot from the first movie, it's because the original boots, the soles actually deteriorated because we shot this a good 10 years after the first movie. So, you know, we couldn't actually wear them anymore, and they crumbled apart. So now we had to get these new boots that will hopefully last longer than a couple years. So hopefully I don't have to upgrade them again in the next one, but we'll see. Now here we are at our BLT opening match. I remember these the fire rings around this was a late addition. My dad was like, "Hey, yeah, that's pretty cool. Do you guys want some fire around those pads?" And we're like, "Is that an option?" My dad, who's a special effects man, and we just hooked him up, and
Well, no, actually, first we had to climb like a 50-foot ladder to the top of a barn to pull down these hoops.
yeah, and they were precariously mounted, to say the least. Okay, so here is 3D Yo, who is one of Ryan Gibson's several characters getting beaten. Now we have Mike O'Gorman here, snorting his souls from his soul tank. We'll get into that later. And there's Jeff Howell, Forklift. All he says is Forklift throughout the entire movie. It's like our Hodor from Game of Thrones, if you will. And it's too much for him. He's getting zapped. He's 187. It's over. Yeah, now this set was a trip. Like, you'll see around the rims here, like, all those shoes are, in theory, that are dangling in the wind are all different souls that AK-47 has collected out in the waste in his matches. And, there was a...
Oh, this is my favorite set.
Oh, yeah, the KCDC layer.
DC layer. We put this together.
Oh, God, yeah,
Yeah.
It's just, me, you, and Sarah one afternoon, and, yeah, there's a lot of Easter eggs going on in here. A lot of KCDC costume pieces from the first movie in the background. All right, yeah, see, those are the shoes. Those are the soles. Yeah, there's Nick, BLT, and, of course, our new soul collector villain, AK-47, played by Mike O'Gorman, who is quite a funny young man.
That is a wig.
That is a wig.
That is a wig.
That is a real cow skull mounted to his back, which was pretty heavy and, from what I hear, very uncomfortable. So sorry, Mike, but it looks bitchin'. So Forklift's happy about it. God, yeah, and there's we spray painted Guitar Heroes, guitars things in the back. And the background of actually that coverage that we just passed is one of my favorite extras, which is another Ryan Gibson. It's actually Han Cholo, who you'll see later in the movie, and it's a monkey man just searching for his keys, lost his keys, and that's one of my favorite extras. 3, 2, and there's Chai Tea, the beginning of Talay, with her blue Dune spice eyes, or in this case, Renenge.
That is what my eyes look like.
Yeah, there were no digital enhancements whatsoever to
No.
those. Oh yeah,
Oh, the
oh
boots.
yeah, the boots.
Yes.
So all the boots in this sequence right now, that's whenever you see the feet, that is just me putting on the actors' boots or their costumes from the waist down and just going to work.
But these are special boots. They
Uh,
are extra
9 times toe,
9 times toe.
what the Mexican gangsters wore, and we found those with Sarah when we were in a Mexican swap meet in North
Yeah.
Hollywood.
But we had
And
to order them in
yeah, because we had to get a special size, and it was
so we
crazy.
can.
And I think she actually put together like 3 different pairs of boots onto them. And
Mhm.
there's in his vest, it's a bunch of different soles too. There's a lot of different, if you really look at it, soles and pieces of shoes integrated into his costume because he is a sole collector, SOLE. And yeah, you can see, and he's got like the right there for his shoulder piece is like a some sort of stripper heel.
And this was a late night shoot.
Oh yeah, we shot this whole sequence here. What was it like
Very.
two nights between this and a scene that's deleted?
Mhm.
We did 2 nights here in this wastes location.
And another fun fact is that we had to Uber Nick from LA to the FP.
Yeah, his ride fell through, and then it turns out that it's not as expensive to Uber somebody, like a good hour plus from LA up to the FP proper. So that was an exciting.
And that Uber driver had no one to take back.
Yeah. Oh my God,
So
that poor
that
guy.
poor guy.
Yeah.
Thank you to that Uber
Yeah.
driver.
Thanks,
If you
Uber
ever see
driver.
this,
Whoever you are, wherever
wherever
you are. There we go. Finish him. We got our, Mortal Kombat action, obviously. If you haven't seen the Mortal Kombat references so far, you're probably not watching. I believe there was a toasty in there when BLT went down, which was not an accident. Oh God, yeah, there's so many things. The
Oh my
champ prize,
God.
all the booze. Yeah, filling up all those things with different water and food coloring all those waters to make them look like the Quattro. Remember that was a whole thing. And there's a bunch of Four Locos nestled back there. If anyone's had Four Loco, that was definitely our spirit animal. Weren't drinking it on this set, but it was representative of the release of the first FP, so we had to throw that in there as an Easter egg.
Look at me, puto.
And here we go. He's gonna suck old BLT's soul out. And as you can see with the blue handprint on AK-47's face, that is like the residue from the Renin souls that he sucks and turns into pure rage through his, Renin soul tank and back. And all these, the VFX are all done by Bronick, who is our VFX wizard, which a lot of these things wouldn't be possible without him. You give him some shots, he comes back on his laptop, and he's like, oh, here's this thing, it's all right. And we're like, holy crap. And he's definitely one of the stars of this movie for sure. And the
Oh,
boot.
yes.
And so this was an accident to where Nick just didn't wear socks. So whenever you see people's boots getting pulled off in this movie, from this moment on, that's what made us decide that no one in the FP wears socks. It was such an easy answer once we saw it, but that way it was never written that way. So Nick, thank you for not wearing socks that day and really making it extra creepy when souls get pulled.
Yeah.
Beats of Rage. Here we are. Oh God, now we are in. Yeah, now we're in FP proper. We're in the 2-4. I guess we're in the 245 at this point. 24-hour J-Tros. Now we got Lib Campbell and Katherine Johnson banging on the door.
Lib Campbell is a fellow Australian. Also Peppa Pig.
Yeah, she is the voice. She traveled as Pepper Pig for years,
Yeah, toured.
which we saw that show one time and it was incredible. And that was after we shot this, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is J-Tro has now taken over the foundation and he lives there from the first film.
This is also Ron Trost's work shed.
Yes, all of his special effects equipment lies
That
in
is
there.
an original FP newspaper, and there was a lot of drama happening.
3 front page newspapers over the real life pond going dry,
Yes.
allegedly to climate change. It's the only time the FP has admitted that climate change might be a thing because they didn't want to admit that the town over was stealing water from them.
But they had to rescue the ducks. The ducks were stuck in the mud. It was a very big rescue effort.
Yeah, there was like we said, 3 front pages of evacuate the ducks.
What the fuck is this bullshit?
Lib.
I love her.
And those are the original posters from FP1 in the background, which were a lot harder to find than
Too many
I thought at first. It's like, oh, of course, those are out in the shed. Not necessarily like Brandon Barrera, who plays Beatro, actually had his there, and I had to have him bring it because I couldn't find any other one. Oh, yeah, and back there on the, we'll see the sign in a minute, but it's the top 10 Beat Ninjas. Those were all people on the Indiegogo that donated to have their name on the list. And you get a close-up of that later, but that was a very fun thing to include. Yeah, this was just, I pulled out...
Jim.
Yeah, Jim. Love Jim. I pulled out, I think, every piece of video gaming memorabilia I've ever owned, which I guess is quite a lot, and just threw it all over that table. Like, there's Super Nintendo games, Virtual Boys, Namco Gun Con, like, just everything in there. Back to the FP. The old Fraser Park sign. I think it's gotten a paint job since the first one. It got spruced up a little bit.
Yes.
Oh yeah, now this is the beautification project. There are now some sidewalks in the FP, some street lamps, and I think there's like a park bench or two. And fun fact, that sign was actually not digitally altered. That's real. No, so this is what happened. This is what, yeah, that's Sarah out there in the mud, our costume designer, and my sister. And that was the pond. That was what it was looking like, and that's where the ducks had to be evacuated. It was actually just evaporating from water. Okay, so that sign was something Sarah and I saw driving around for costumes in the FP2 with you, Tole. We were all driving around for costumes, and that entrepreneurs wanted.
LA.
Yeah, no, I know. It was like over by Costco, but we were driving around in pre-production for this movie.
And who doesn't want to be an entrepreneur?
And spelt wrong. Like I had to take a picture of it.
Brilliant.
And those are the booze crystals there.
Yeah, that's Jordan.
That is Jordan.
Jordan's now a father.
Jordan is now a father. Jordan I went to high school with. He's been in my movies since I was in high school, and I was glad to get him in this.
And Jordan was a godsend. He also PA'd and just did everything.
Did a little bit of everything. That's the thing on this movie. Everyone who's in this, they're not just that guy in the background. They're usually doing 5 other things at once. That's why we have a crew of about, 5 people making these movies, including us.
Yes.
And the Art Sue. Here comes the Art Sue reveal. Motherfucker. Yeah. Fun fact, those coverages are shot, hundreds of feet away from each other?
Oh, down a mountain.
Yeah, those things aren't even attached, but
no.
I remember not knowing what to do in the background of that for production design. We had like some hangers and a bunch of bottles, and I was like, well, fuck it. Hang those booze bottles out there.
And there is a group of local kids who have done a lot of this artwork.
Yeah, but a lot of these little things back there you'll see are all the Indiegogo people that kind of like they pitched in for their, the street cred perk.
Yes.
And there's so many little things scribbled in there if you pause that from all of their submissions. And there's also later at the chug hole, written on $100 bills. There's a lot of those. Mm-hmm. And this is the tunnel in Fraser Park, real life location here.
That's all real.
That's all real. All that stuff's there. That exists. This is where the kids go and get lit in the FP real.
And when we had to film there was a group of kids getting lit.
Yeah, right out here, to the left.
Gave us some space, yes.
Yeah, they
moved out of the tunnel.
They were, smoking something or other, and maybe something that's drawn on that wall. And, they were very happy. Like, oh, man, you guys are crazy. Yeah, that was so funny. I totally forgot. There's, over there to the left of me, I guess, there's
about
a group
5
of kids, or high school kids, whatever, like with a bicycle. And it's like, this attaches to like a riverbed. So I'm like, how'd you get your bicycle up here?
It was really good for all the actors there because that is the FP. These 3 kids are what the FP is.
Yeah, whenever they think we're completely making this up, it's funny when the actors brush in with the locals. Always wait till the last fucking second to tell me when something like this. Oh my god. I'm trying to remember, like this in general. This was from God, 'cause we shot this in two chunks. We shot this part like the end of 2017, and then end of 2018 we did the other half.
Yeah.
Due to how we funded this movie on Indiegogo and the several waves. And the first half was kind of like figuring out what the hell this movie was and getting our infrastructure together. And Jatro has his mouthwash bottle, which is, if you know, a good joke from the first one when Stacy's talking about all her friends chugging mouthwash in the riverbed. Now we're kind of seeing that live action. Back at Jatro's, formerly the Foundation. Yeah, so these are all those. There's so many. I think that's a Game Genie there in the foreground. And there's definitely a Bop It or Skip It or 2 in there too. And there's an N64. Yeah, some Atari. Wow. Yeah. Stuff's all like in a rat's nest in the garage at this point.
Here's the list.
Top 10 Beat Ninjas. Yeah, here's the list we were talking about earlier. You start getting your close-up of, there's all the peeps.
Thank you, peeps.
Yeah, thanks, peeps. BLT, of course. Thanks, Bill T.
This whole thing is also shot with a jib, which is a very cumbersome, humongous piece of equipment, and I think about as technical as we got, and then
Yeah.
decided to never use it again.
Well, yeah, because pretty much it was like the size of our entire crew having to operate just this thing, and it took forever. I mean, it looks cool, but
It
it's
looks
like
cool.
that's why we only pulled that sort of stuff out for very key moments. Because when you have a very small crew, it's hard to waste that kind of time. Now here we are.
Flashback.
Yeah, flashbacks to the first movie, which it was funny. Like I remember writing this initially, being like, "Wouldn't it be cool if it was like 10 years later?" And then it just kind of happened that way with the shooting, like because when I was shooting the first movie, I was I was 21, and then in this one, I go from the age of like, I guess 30 to 31 throughout the shooting. Yeah, and all these videos on the these dance screens that correlate with the game, that was such a pain in the ass to make those beforehand. I had to make all of those and then get them to queue up on the screen and then dance to them, and it's a very technical process. There's always like a computer in the back that's hooked up to the screen playing it, and
I know people have also asked about the eye patch,
the eye patch,
Yeah.
how it sticks on.
how it sticks on.
Well, there is this place called sweeteyepatches.com that has got eye patch tape, which is like this double stick tape that kicks ass, and that is the movie magic there. Okay, so here is our first experience into a ninjawa.
And this is actually me.
That is
I am
actually
this
you.
person, and I am standing on buckets.
Yeah, to be taller than me, which was great. And this is like we wanted to start having our Princess Mononoke approach into this, where it's like the style of this one was like, what if Miyazaki made 8 Mile? What the hell would that look like?
And only had $500.
Yeah, and had $500. And Sarah just really responded to that and ran with it. We went with
to the
her.
thrift store.
Yeah,
Yep.
Sarah had this crazy idea where she wanted to skin basically stuffed animals and make pelts, like fur pelts with stuffed animals, and we got hundreds of stuffed animals, and like having to I'll get all the stuffing out of those and
Oh my God,
sew
clean
those
them
together, and
because they
clean
were
them. We had to wash them
disgusting.
and then dye them the
I
different
made
colors
that
to go with
too,
the
that little sign, bottomless booze for us.
with these Scrabble
Oh.
pieces, the KCDC.
This was kind of an accident.
This was an accident because the sets were right there, and then we were doing it, and we were writing. We're like, wouldn't it just be funny if they were connected? And it's just that, and it's very indicative of their relationship. Oh, the duck baby back there. I love the duck baby.
Now this I don't recommend doing. Lighting a flare in a mine shaft.
Yeah, we thought this was a great idea at the time. We're like, yeah, let's go in there and shoot this. Flares look awesome. It's anamorphic. It's gonna be great.
It does look awesome.
It does look great, but when you're trapped in a area, this is a real mine on my dad's property that has no ventilation, and you're inhaling that flare shit, you go down pretty quick. We found out that was one of the stupidest things I think I've ever done shooting. Was really
But once you start it,
once you
there's
start,
no going
it's no
back.
going back. Well, you're high at that point. Flare smoke.
love those shoes. People have asked about arts.
Oh,
shoes.
arts.
I
Those are
think-
yellow Converse. We found those at some Converse outlet near the FP, and I've never seen those again. But they were these crazy. They just look like duck feet. So
Oh, this is Michael Davis.
Michael Davis. This costume on Michael is one of my favorites. I know it's one of Sarah's favorites because it's just all a bunch of junk and recycled whatnot.
And Michael
'cause-
Davis is a very talented hair and makeup artist, so he actually did all of that himself.
Yeah, he did his own makeup here,
Yeah.
and
There was a tampons for hair curlers.
oh my god, yeah, because there's so much going on with that costume. I remember we had to save up our trash for like weeks just to build this set and just have him kind of like blend into the set. Because the idea here is basically that, FP is just a pile of trash, and this trash just blows out into the prettier landscape. Because it's like every small town, that their small town's kind of a shithole, and the rest of the world's actually not so bad.
He's got his little duck and his little duck.
Because on the
Oh,
back of his jacket, there's
it's
you can see it a couple
fantastic,
times,
yeah.
but there's the duck swimming in the duck pond.
And the pond is a glitter pond.
I got our drone shots.
And the buildings in the background, that's all Bronick.
Yeah,
as well.
that's all Bronick. This here was one of my favorite little moments of the map fading, and like that was an accident because I was just laying the map over to zoom over it, and then I had some translucent thing on. It just kind of happened, and I tweaked it a little bit, but that was totally that was my favorite accident in the editing.
Because initially we were just going to do little dots. And then,
Yeah, and then I was like, this is way fucking cooler.
oh yeah, now it's got his walk. Love
And
that
here
walk.
comes the chai tea.
Oh yes.
When we have our mysterious 80s fantasy, blurry star filter. This is when the star filter comes up, by the way.
Star filter.
Now, we shot this anamorphic, which means it's like basically with J.J. Abrams, the way you get all your lens flares and all this and that. But we decided, why not have J.J. Abrams lens flares, but with a star filter, which is bananas, and nobody would want to do that. But, you know, our DP, Marcus, was all over it, because he's pretty much as crazy as we are. And in all the 80s, like Conan movies, especially particularly Conan 2, there were a shitload of just star filters, and it really lights things up, especially later on with the ninjas in the night scene coming up. That's when we really know we made the right choice.
This is at the property as well.
Oh yeah, I remember dragging those two mattresses up a hill, which is actually a lot harder than you think it is.
It's a pretty steep hill, too.
Yeah.
Stinks. God's gonna do
And, yeah, so what, this is just us, and then my dad's over there with a propane tank hooked up to this fire to make it going, because
Sitting on his chair.
in movie fires, you don't want to just light a fire, A, because you'll smell like a campfire, but also the sound, like the popping and the cracking, like you'll never be able to record the dialogue from that. The great thing with these fake propane fires is that they're silent, essentially, and you just have bitchin' fire, and you can always keep the fire at the same height and the same level for continuity, so if you ever have access to that, I highly recommend it over just throwing like a fire log down or whatever, though I've also done that and learned the hard way why not to do that.
Pro tips.
Okay, yeah, because this scene we shot, we just started shooting at sunset and just went into the rest of it, so it actually turns night as we're shooting it, which is pretty cool.
Fuck this, man. Taking a walk. Yo, there's the door, bitch. You look up at that handle, let that shit hit you on the way out. The past isn't your anchor, J-Tro. It's your most fucking sail.
That's a jacket, Jason's jacket we got in Australia.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
That was a $50 jacket.
Now, if you believe the story that the lady at the antique store in Australia, I think it was the town of Braidwood, told us, was that that jacket belonged to the lady who brought McDonald's to New Zealand. I have no idea if that's true, but I loved it, and I just had to have it, because I've always wanted that kind of 30s adventures jacket.
And then Sarah altered it to fit him.
Yeah, so here we are up also on the property. Oh, we're flat, ducks on fire.
Thank God we got that footage for the advertising campaign. So
yeah, because we'd never have that again, because the ducks just disappeared.
Aw.
Beatro, Brandon Barrera, he's back. And I love that he got older and grew a beard in the afterlife. That's one of my favorite bits here on the Reninja Dark Cloud world.
Yeah, we have FP in the afterlife. Very exciting.
I remember finding this, you know, I'm using quote fingers here, set for my coverage of this. We were like, oh, look at those roots. Looks like Dagobah system from Star Wars. So we just went with it. And
there were a lot of issues with smoke. For that one?
Yeah, there was.
I was on smoke duty, and
Yeah.
it was in the butt.
Smoke is great until the wind is not blowing the way you want it to, and then it just kind of sucks. That's why later in the movie we came up with the thing which is the tube of death, which is you basically get this large plastic black, like basically trash bag tube that's like 40 foot long, and you encircle it around your set, and you poke holes in it like every couple feet, so that way there's smoke coming no matter which way the wind is blowing from every direction, and you're covered. But we didn't have that at this point yet in the shoot, because it's still the first half.
This isn't shot together. Brandon came up. He was on green screen. So we shot him out in a couple of hours, right?
Oh, if even that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was quick.
You will notice very occasionally flies.
Oh, yeah.
He had to deal with a lot of flies. It was hot and summer, and
There's just flies in the mountains no matter what.
Yeah.
So it's very funny to me to see these flies and the green screen bits. And I think that's one of our first Star Wars wipes.
Mm-hmm.
I remember, I think like what was it? Empire Strikes Back has like 54 wipes or something, and that's like the most wipes in a Star Wars movie. We've got 100 something wipes in this, especially when you get to the training montage. Here we are in the dark, the smoky forest. These lanterns were bitchin', and one of our favorite accidents.
Yes.
Because we were supposed to have flares, but then my dad was like, you guys are idiots, you shouldn't have flares out here because stuff's going to light on fire and it's really dry. And I was like, good point, Dad. So then we came up with these things, these Maglite flashlights and duct tape and mason jars, and we put like reflective surface on the top of them, and we just went with it.
Star filter, Ninja was.
Yeah, not only like Sarah built all these like little lights into these things, which is insane, and then the star filter just went nuts.
And then that's Sarah and me.
Yeah, it's you and Sarah again.
And we honestly thought that we would die in this part.
We're literally out in the forest.
We're in the forest, and we're both standing on buckets and dirt, which meant that we kept sliding. And it's quite high. And initially we had Art speaking,
Well, he's speaking Chinese.
yeah, because we thought the ninjas would actually be Chinese, but
Yeah, we thought
we
that'd
went
be.
through a few different language options for them.
We did. I remember there was this like beatbox kind of language we
Yeah.
were playing with them, and a lot of things that didn't pan out between shoot one and shoot two. But I still like, Star Wars style. We have our people speaking different languages with our subtitles and whatnots.
Just hurry up, man.
There's KCDC on the back of his hood.
It's a great. I love his costume.
All of his costumes are fantastic. And you actually need those poles to support yourself, because later I play a ninja.
It's hard.
It is hard. Cool. Yeah, this is up in Lone Pine, which we'll get to later in the movie, but they've shot so many like fantasy movies and Western movies. It's only 2.5 hours north of LA, and it's so cool up there. Those rocks and the mountains, and the new J-Tro tournament costume.
Yes.
Another classic.
And Sarah hand stitched all of those stars. She cut them out and hand stitched them. And
Oh, and here's H1N1.
oh, and these are our very special silver screen muggers.
Yeah, silver screen muggers. Here we
who
go.
Came to us and were amazing. They all made these costumes. There's Mike again.
Yeah, I think there's very rarely like Sarah added she added bits to them, but like they pretty much, a lot of them came ready to go with their own cosplay, which was great.
And we're just the best people because these were long days.
And of course, here is Ryan Gibson, I guess number 2 at this point of
Oh,
actors.
he's been the monkey too.
Here's the
so
monkey,
this is
yeah, 3. Quackajax.
Quacka.
He just has his little boy like duck paint face.
And Ryan's another Australian.
Oh boy, is he playing an Englishman here, I suppose. God, H1N1, that costume's
Who's
insane.
that?
That was Ryan. Actually, that's 4. Yeah.
That's 4. Luckily with the ninjas, pro tip, if you can't see someone's face, it's actually very helpful.
Anyone can be them.
Anyone can
It's
be
right.
them.
And they will at some point.
Yeah.
Want to know my technique, FP man? Calm on the surface.
Goodness. There's so much that was going on here.
So
Now,
much.
we have BJ McDonald, who's a good friend of mine, and he's the director of the Slayer music videos, and you know that I was in those because we were buddies. And then when he was like, hey man, anything you need a favor, and I was like, I actually need somebody to come here and do some Steadicam operating, so here we go. And at first he may be a little apprehensive, but he really got into it. He's a big fan of the first one, and we him and his wife Adrian,
Yes.
who
who
did
was our
the bitchin'
makeup.
hair and makeup on this, especially for like Chai Tea. It was really fun working with everybody. It was like a little family unit up there.
But because we shot the first half and the second half, we had another, for the first stuff was Cece Anderson. So she did makeup.
For the first
For the
like
first
30
bit.
minutes. Yeah, this whole chromed. There's so many like star filters and things in here that they'll tell you should never do. Just blasting things out, mixed color sources.
So much light.
It's bananas in here.
And it was freezing outside. So I
It
think
was.
everyone was very happy that we were in a shipping container.
Yeah, and because we had the with the silver screen muggers, we only had a weekend to shoot with them. We had all this stuff we wanted to include them in. So we actually have the sets right next to each other. This is inside of a building right next to where the mines are later in the movie. So in the daytime, we'd shoot until about 3 p.m. until the sun would be unusable out there. And then we'd have lunch and then file everybody in here and shoot all the stuff in the Chrome Dome. So it was just 2 massive days of back and forth.
And somehow, though, after the first night, we did end up at the Sue's Tavern.
Oh, we did. I remember being
We
like,
did.
I was so tired. I was like, oh, I'll come for like one drink. And then we ended up closing out the bar, and like all the like silver screen muggers like, guys, we're tired. And I was like, oh, Jesus, I should really. That was a messy night. Then the next day we woke up and it was like raining, and we were at
That's
the
and
mines.
Frank Sanders, who I don't think we've seen Frank yet.
I think we might have just tipped Frank somewhere in there.
He'll come back.
Yeah, he's
But
definitely
Frank
out there.
saved us. He came that morning with coffee and donuts.
Yeah, Frank Sanders, who is the FP's #1 fan, he has a tattoo of me and L-Dub on his
Yes.
arm, and I've known Frank for years. We got him a copy of the movie way back when, before the movie came out, and it was so awesome getting Frank to come out here and then basically turn into our first AD
Mm-hmm.
on this portion of the shoot. It was badass having Frank.
Yeah.
Fucking son of a snake, J-Tro. Tubes and shit. Ain't just
Tubes and shit.
There's Landon and Michael Lee.
God, yeah, it's so fun watching this and seeing everyone back there, because we've kept in pretty good touch with a lot of the
Yeah.
silver screen muggers. So now it's like a lot of people are just buddies. So it's funny seeing them now.
Look at those feet.
Yeah, no, this is a deleted scene that you'll watch in the
Yes.
Blu-ray. That I love this scene. It's like the perfect like meanwhile in the bad guys layer scene, but it definitely kind of stalled the pace of the opening of the movie, and we kind of get this information two other times. But there was still some really cool visual stuff in there, so I'm glad we got to.
And Ryan's death acting is
Oh God,
exceptional.
come on, man, it wasn't dry snitching.
Snatching.
Whatever. Sounds like a bunch of fucking fake.
I love Art's like concerned face.
He's so concerned. He's so sweet.
concerned. He's the best concerned face.
I just love it because, like, in a sea of assholes, he's just this very concerned, sweet mother. More dronage up there in the clouds. Now, this is also on the property at my dad's place, which is pretty much just our back lot. Where we did very little here because this car graveyard just exists. That's actually KCDC's car back there that we not so well covered up. Now, if you see it, you won't be able to unsee it. KCDC's car from the first one, which used to be my car and is now just dead as a doornail for years.
Set dressing.
Mm-hmm. And Chai Tea, here she comes.
Yes, Chai Tea is very cat-like, based off of our beautiful cat, Squishy Burrito.
Our kitty.
Our kitty, our giant rescue.
But also, I find that a lot of the 80s fantasy women had this way of kind of moving and acting cat-like. And so that was a big thing that Talay wanted to bring to this, which I really enjoyed.
Gooners are bad.
And this is one of those moments where Jason and I had done so much, and then we're like, oh, shit, we have to... Can I swear?
Yeah, you can
We
swear.
have to film this
Have
scene.
you seen this movie?
Yeah. I lived this movie.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, now with this scene, because Talay, when we were shooting this little bit of the movie, we had to shoot, because you were working full-time on something else and then coming up on the weekends and helping out shoot this. Well, so there was like 4 scenes of yours in the movie. We just had to, and thank God we're all shooting on the same place in the property. We'd have to run around from one like scene to scene to scene. We did like 4 of your big scenes over in one day because we had to schedule it that way.
Luckily, Chai Tea's costume doesn't really change, though. It's actually amazingly detailed. She's got the doll's heads on the side. There's a corset under there.
On the boots
Then
and
the
the
boots are
cape
really
and the...
cool. But yeah, try getting in and out of a corset by yourself. Very difficult.
You did it somehow. You
Somehow.
achieved it. G'day, Tro.
Good intro.
Back at the car
Back at
graveyard.
the car graveyard.
The night after, or the morning after, if you will. Boots still on, of course.
And this just is at the property, so
Yeah.
it's great. We basically go there, compile all the trash, and make something happen.
Yeah, my dad just got so many props and machinery pieces and things from all the movies because he does special effects. He's compiled over the years, so we usually just drag around as much of the trash as we can, put it in one place, do something with it, and then haul a bunch of it off to the dump and slowly but surely clean it up each time.
I do love that America sign. You'll notice that was also on.
And KCDC's windshield at his lair. And this is Han Cholo,
Yes.
which is also Ryan Gibson yet again.
And that is a cap that you have had since high school?
Oh God, yeah, since I was like 16, like that marriage isn't a word, it's a sentence.
Chill, Casey Dia. How you doing, homie?
And this kind of let's make a deal scene.
I love how comfortable Mike makes that wheelbarrow look.
Yeah, because it
Because it
is
was
not at
comfortable.
all. And it was funny how we initially made it to where Mike, like it'd be haha, he needs the wheelbarrow to come into set or whatever with his character, but then it kind of just with his pack and his costume, it kind of became that way. I remember this scene in particular. I mean, this is actually a recommendation. Mike wanted to be shirtless and sweaty and oily in this scene because he thought it was creepy, but I think it also might have been because he just didn't want to wear
Yeah.
that fucking skull for one scene, just take a break. But I think it makes it extra creepy that he's all sweaty and oily in the shadows here.
Fuck that. Hey, fuck you.
And there's just so many lens flares and I mean, we've got like there's probably C-stands in the shot here, but like the production design is just so kind of like complex and a rat nest of trash.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to tell you where, but if you look close enough, you can see things like booms and C-stands and all kinds of shit in the shots. But you really can't tell because there's just so much bullshit in every frame.
The FP is weak. So take.
And that's the thing. When you're making a movie with like 3 or 4 people, like sometimes we'll crew up and have like 6 people there or something, but you can't see everything that's going on and you kind of just roll with it. And I think that's a lot of what made these movies back in the 80s and the 70s and things look so cool and have so much personality is that they kind of just rolled with the imperfections instead of just making everything super clean and perfect, if you will.
Yeah, we're not going to edit out a C stand. You can
No.
deal with it.
Han Solo. Now, I think this line here that Art says is actually something that I saw Frank Sanders say in a YouTube video once upon a time. So, Frank, I think I stole that from you. Shit's bananas. It's one of those jokes. I mean, if you laugh at a monkey saying something about bananas, you're one of the two people out there. Yeah, now this montage is a big thing because everyone who speaks and dies in these pads are the silver screen muggers, which there was the extra perk where they're extras, and the top tier were the silver screen muggers, and they're the guys that die on these pads here. And this was such a quick, crazy sequence to shoot. It was just basically like one long take of just running people in and be like, okay, now you come in, say your things, die, awesome. BJ, spin around with the camera, cool. Next. You know, hour 13 or whatever at that point. Mike Goosens, who is a killer DJ and has lots of bitchin' synth music at his disposal that he keeps dumping on me, and I've appreciated.
Yeah, and we've seen most of these people at the screenings and festivals. It's been great.
Yeah.
If you ever see us at a festival, we will always have a drink with you.
Yes, just come say hi.
We don't know anyone, and
please approach us.
Please approach us.
There's nothing worse than drinking alone. Chai tea doing her hisses. Yeah. Oh, that's Shane.
Oh, Shane, sorry. Shane is amazing.
I love Shane.
And he is in a wheelchair, and he was incredible this entire time.
Yeah, he kicked ass. Didn't complain, he just showed up and rocked.
Yeah.
Shane was a hero.
And Shane's one of the original, like, hardcore fans.
Oh yeah.
FP.
Now, if you ever see Shane, Shane is the shit. Say yo. Yeah, so jumping around in that cow skull was not the easiest thing for Mike, I know, but it was also hard for BJ, who would have to swing around him with the camera and just hoping that because those are real horns. Like horns on the end of that, so like he could very easily impale someone if he turns the wrong way. So I think this was probably like the biggest sequence where safety was involved in our entire shoot of being like, you know, we actually should probably pay attention to this right now because this could get really bad.
Holding hands, very risky.
Oof. Holding hands during the tournament? Say what? Michael Lee. Now, Michael Lee has become a very good buddy of ours, and if you, chances are if you've bought t-shirts or anything from the FP, he is the mastermind behind t-shirts and a lot of other merch. Because Michael Lee kicks ass at that. He has an awesome, like, Disney IT job, but then by the side, he's this merch cosplaying genius.
And I think Mike had a cold this weekend.
Oh yeah, he totally did.
Yeah, and he's doing
somehow
such a great job.
Doing all that with that cold was just beyond me.
We did have a bottle of tequila on set.
Yeah.
For the crew.
The rule was, you know, no tequila until lunch, but once lunch hits, you know, if you want to have a shot like every hour or two to keep you going, you know, knock yourself out. And God knows we needed it.
Yes.
Because when you get so tired at a certain point working on these things, coffee doesn't do anything anymore. You need that spice.
That upper.
So yeah, we're here at the Quattro well, the booze well.
Yeah.
Chrome spelt wrong back there, on purpose. Oh, the booze well. What is down there?
No one knows.
No one will ever know.
No one will ever know. Except that it's
bottomless booze for Evs.
More than you could ever drink.
Yeah, because this was another one of those scenes we did in that one day. Like this, the intro scene, we did this scene, and then I believe there's 2 other scenes that we do. God, in that one day, that was nuts, just running all over the place.
Day.
Again, this is why you should put all of your sets in the same place so you can just run from one to the other. So when, you know, you get acts of gods and, you know, curveballs, which you'll always get, no matter how well you plan these things, you can just run over and shoot something else.
Yes.
He was always jealous. jealous of you.
It's also good why we cast ourselves as things, because there's always something to shoot. I'm available.
Drowning down here in all this wet shit.
So smoking in this movie, I don't smoke at all. Like I can't stand it and I can't do it.
Mhm.
And but these are like these menthol cigarettes or
Herbal.
herbal cigarettes, yeah.
Yeah.
And even though they're supposed, like it's not like real smoke, it still fucks you up
You
smoking
have
these.
smoker's cough for
Yeah, well, I had to
a
smoke
hot
like
minute.
you have to smoke so many of these things because in order to keep the continuity up, you have to light up a new cigarette every take, and
Boy,
it's
let's see.
pretty insane. I don't know how people do that shit.
Perez.
What do you mean? You like seed?
I think J-Tro's gonna have to start vaping in the next one. I can't deal with that again.
Trees around here?
Yeah, I've seen a couple. Yes.
Oh, your re-ninja
Re-ninja eyes.
magic eyes.
One of
Oh, this was fun too, because this was actually surprisingly technical, this next part.
Yeah, so the next
Yes.
bit that's about to come up where we had to kiss, and then when it moves in, there had to be the right timing that Bubbles had to come down
Mhm.
because of course Bubbles. It's like our kind of fantasy Blade Runner-y, sequence here, and Bubbles are really wet. I
Yes,
don't know if
they
you know
are.
that, so you have to position the camera at just a difference or a distance that
Well, I'm
it won't
also
get wet.
covered in blue with metal things. So as soon as there's no going back from here.
Yeah, this was it had to be
It
one
had to be
take thing
one
because
take.
your makeup is so particular that once you do anything to your
Mhm.
face, it's all over, and it takes hours to apply. So
Yeah. And Jason's face is blue, and
yeah, that was the last shot of the day, I think, because
yeah,
after that we were
it
just
was
like
done. We were
the
done
cleanup
there.
time is just ridiculous. And fade to Bubbles.
Fade to Bubbles.
Oh. All right, and here we are. We're coming up to the KCDC breaks up with J-Tro moment here.
God.
J-Tro's rage dipping, and
yo, dog.
KCDC doesn't want to see him go down that path.
A minute, PC. Nah. We need to wrap now, yo.
And then you've got Art is obviously taking the high ground in this scene, so he's above me.
This is it, yo.
Got your lens flare going there, and this is I love that you get to see some close-up stuff of Art's costume here.
Yeah.
His goggles are particularly pretty sweet.
You're leaving me? This ain't your path, bro.
There were a lot of flies, as you can see. This is what we're
Yes,
talking about here.
right?
You can really see the real-life flies here, not just on the green
It
screen.
was bad. Like,
It's always bad. I don't know.
yeah.
It's like there's
Well, in winter,
horses live nearby,
I
and
think when we did the first half, it was colder.
Let's talk about dreams.
God, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I remember this scene too. It's like there's only 4 people there at this point. It's Marcus, our DP, me, Art, and then Jordan holding a boom.
Mm-hmm.
So it's our 4-man crew that day.
What's left is fucking.
But I think that's kind of nice, especially for Art in this scene. Like Art is exceptional.
Yeah, he really goes for it in this scene, which I
Yeah.
love. It's fun when you get Art moving.
Oof.
You wanna go?
Oh dear.
Not the
Not
rage.
the rage.
But I just like it as not just an actor, but a filmmaker having less people on the crew because you get to take more time with stuff. You don't feel beholden like to the 10 guys who were talking shit at the craft service table about how they can do your job better than you or whatever that ends up happening on the big movies. You actually you're having fun. It feels like making movies back in high school.
This is the
And I don't see any other way to make something like this
This is how it do.
because it's a very particular joke and you're either in on it or you're not.
I guess this is how it do. I just can't keep you out of there.
Yeah, and so he's got his bindle back there, which it's actually full of quite a few treasures.
Mm-hmm.
Any of
So Art could feel the weight of his bindle.
DC. All you ever cared about is that.
And that's one of, what, I guess 2 eye patches that I wear in the movie. There's obviously the
Yeah.
strapless one, and then there's the waist
haven't
patch
seen the
later. We
waist
haven't seen that
patch.
one yet. But yeah, the whole deal with the strapless eye patches, if you ever wear an eye patch in real life, which I hope you don't, straps are a pain in the ass. It like fucks with your hair, it fucks with everything, gives you headaches, like it tightens around a lot of points that just shouldn't be tightened on your head. And I got so sick of that I was like, there's gotta be another way. And I pulled out a pair of scissors one day, clip, and I was like, this is amazing. And then some eye patch tape later, which exists. And here we are. I'm never going back. On his wrist there, the hashtag yellow. And I always love that. Where did Sarah find those?
I'm not sure. She definitely owns them.
Yeah. She has so many little
Mhm.
tools and tricks in her toolbox. Art struggling to walk up the mountain because he's just walking up a real mountain.
Dirt.
Yeah, just dirt,
It's
loose dirt.
hard.
And now we're doing the two ninjas roll in, one ninja rolls out, which, you know,
Did you want to
obviously-
talk about changing the word? I know people have asked about that.
changing the word to ninja from the first film. Well, it's been 10 years. There's a whole new dialect. It's been a new time. You know, it's a new generation, if you will. But also, it's something we wanted to make the word our word and more of a fantasy, mystical thing, not just, you know, a bunch of white kids saying the N word, which, you know, how long or far is that joke going to go? And I think it's also the difference between being 21 and being 31. You find different things funny and you have different things that you feel like saying, and I don't really feel the need to say that anymore.
We actually dubbed the footage we shot in
Yeah,
the
because
first half.
it was in there a little bit, and that's when we realized, I'm like, this is stupid. I want to make this our own word. I want to make this more mystical and be our own thing. Like, especially like what I really liked, which is Firefly, is they have all these curse words in it that they've created for their own world, and I love that because then it's not technically a bad word, but it's their own deal. And I'm a big fan, if you know, as if you can tell, of making alternate languages in movies. So I really wanted to kind of own more of the dialect of this world. God, yeah. Just to show you a one little flub here, when you're shooting things really quickly and you're just kind of all over the place. I think in some of these above shots, you can see me wearing the wrong boots.
Oh, yes.
If you look really closely. We hit it pretty well, but it definitely happened. As do many other things in this movie. And there's so many times, like, trying to integrate shots and planning things, like, with the silver screen muggers, and then the other shots where it's, like, tight, and you have, like, two people in the background who are just crew members, like Alex back there,
Yep.
who was, you know, our King Killa PA.
And Patrick.
Patrick.
Was doing sound. And
Yeah.
he was also
Pretty much
amazing.
anyone who was a crew member on days where there weren't the extras, they would just wear these kind of weird, crazy costumes around set as we're working, so if we ever need to throw someone back there,
That actually
ready to
happened with
go.
Patrick. We lost him a few times, but he was next to us.
He was just
so
in
well
costume with, yeah, he was
disguised.
in costume with the boom out there in the crowd. And you're like, oh, cool. I had no idea.
Oh no.
Mike's
Mike's
victory. Yeah, and he hates that wig so much. And it's that thing. He's like, yeah, if I'm ever in more of these, it's got to be like Thor 3. I'm cutting my hair. I'm never wearing that fucking thing again. I was like,
I
fair
love
enough.
it though.
No, it's great and it's fun. I think because it pissed him off so much, it definitely helped his performance and made him just angry and mad, which it kills.
We
But
took the horns off.
I also, I did that because I wanted to help him out. But
Yeah.
the wig definitely got so fucked up by the end of this thing. Like that thing was barely
Michael
holding
Davis
together.
Also provided that wig.
He did.
Yes.
He gave us like a whole bunch of wigs. It was like a whole, yeah, so many tricks.
It was fun filming this with all of these fans as well, because for them they were all trying to piece together, and that is another special feature of what
the hell
fuck
this
is
was about,
happening.
because we didn't tell them what this was about. We just kind of shot random things, and they had to kind of just do their due diligence to figure out what the hell was going on. We have one of those little party lights that we're pointing at his hand there to kind of mix in with the VFX. What's
It's all
going on?
texture. There's a lot
Yeah.
of texture in this. I think people forget about that.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of texture and weird, just dirty stuff, like walls moving. Like, oh, that's one of the panther heads in the background from the first Mortal Kombat movie. They're on the ground. I think there's also spikes from the pit set.
Have we already said that your dad?
Yeah, because my dad worked on Mortal Kombat 1 and 2, which I was on set for when I was a kid, and we still have some of the props from those movies, and you'll definitely see some of
Oh,
those
the
in the
fact
background.
that Mike sniffed that boot
Yeah, we didn't ask him to do that. Mike just went for it.
and that
That's ballsy.
ballsy
God
and
only knows
disgusting. I don't
what's
know
going
how
on there.
he immediately vomited. Very impressive.
Mike's method, he can make shit happen. Oh my goodness. And now we are in
Yes.
the Renenge again.
Did you all the shit you do? It makes my ass sad, dog.
Oh.
Understand, bro? I'm not you, man. I'm not
Yeah, these scenes they were so funny. We're just like, you know, on the side of my dad's barn, just with
Mm-hmm. The green
green
screen.
shit hung up on the wall, and See what happens, which is very funny. And then you see this later, and you're like, "Oh fuck, that's what it's gonna look like." Cool.
I failed everybody. You've been given a gift, Jatro.
Originally, this was going to be a duck pond.
Yeah,
Like way back.
oh, way
Yeah.
back. Yeah, that was we were
We're
thinking
gonna
about
have
a duck pond afterlife sort of deal, and then it was just like, then with the actual pond like dying, and then other ponds around us not working out, it just became too much of a pain in the ass to try to schedule going to a pond, and then. Yeah, just kind of because the way this movie is and how ambitious it is, anything that we couldn't shoot on my dad's property or right near it kind of fell by the wayside because we kind of just had to have a whole backlot scenario.
Oof.
Ooh, he's turning
Oh,
rage.
no.
He's giving in. Don't do it, Jatro. That's funny, when you see me walking away like this, there's only so far away I can walk because there's a green wall there.
Yeah.
So it's like, I kind of like pull back with the camera, like digitally, to make it look like I'm walking further. I'm just like kind of walking in place. And float him away.
Or you could do that.
Yeah, well, that's what we came up with in the end because you're just walking against the green wall in place. No, I'll never play Beat Beat Revelation again. Worked that one back in there twice. And it's so funny what this place looks like when there's no one in it and all the lights are off. Again, thank you,
Dirty feet.
Nick Principe, Barefoot. And we're back up in Lone Pine, out in the wastes. Which is just killer, like,
I love the music here too. I do love this musical choice.
of just the Middle
Have we
Eastern
spoken
prayer
about
music.
the music?
We have not spoken about the music. I've done most of the music in this movie, but then my buddies, they provided all the songs with the singing.
Yeah.
So if you get the soundtrack, generally when anyone sings, it's not me.
And
But
you'll see, this is a Sarah Trost favorite of mine, are the shoes Jason is wearing.
yeah, Sarah was very proud of those shoes,
Yes.
which I don't think you see until a close up later. But when you see him, oh, he's had a beard. He's been out here too long.
Now look at that denim
Which-
patch.
Again, scheduling this to have to shoot the stuff with the beard first, because I remember I had to shoot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those are they're
Milk.
water, like milk
Yeah.
jugs, or
Water jugs.
water
milk
jugs.
jug.
Yeah, and then like with twine and like flip flop water jug thing. They were insane with. It was actually no, it was duct tape for the toes.
That's
Yeah.
right.
But yeah, when we're shooting with this beard, because it's a real beard, I had to grow that out for like a month or two before we shot, and then right up to it, then like the first 2 days of shooting, we did with the beard. And I remember like at lunch, I had to shave the beard and then do something clean shaven right after lunch. Like, so yeah, when you don't have time, you really
You
get into
grew your
some.
hair too.
crazy
This is a
corners.
Very hairy.
Oh god, yeah.
The chug hole.
Again, on my dad's property, just another corner of it. Yeah, I remember building this like
Oh yeah,
in a
this was
day,
like a last.
just running up there and just throwing a bunch of shit in the walls.
There's Sarah.
Yeah, there's Sarah and Jordan and you. You're in the
Yeah,
background
in the
too.
background there.
The chug hole. That's Shaquille O'Neal's hand over there, like a mold of his hand from Kazam that my dad worked on. Now, all these $100 bills and things on the wall, which are all fake $100 bills that my dad had from some show, all the phrases from the Indiegogo are written on there, and there's pictures of the mugshot people back there. This was a fun little set to put together. And I think there's even there's a pole in the background, which you don't really see much of, but it's the no stripping fire lane pole or whatever from the first movie that the dancer Kyle was on.
Oh, Kyle does.
Yeah, he was in the
this,
background
actually.
in the first waist sequence. He made a reappearance.
Guess I was exactly right. Me too.
Oh, I love this costume.
Oh yeah, the American flag leather jacket monstrosity.
Denim jean.
Yeah, because it's like
Yeah,
a jean vest, like a vest
vest.
made out of jeans. That was awesome.
It's cool.
This was early too. This was an early shoot.
Oh yeah, like what is this, 7 a.m. or something?
Yeah, I think it was like 6. And those snowsuits were so warm.
That's good.
Well, thank God,
Yeah.
because this was like in November.
Start, son. Son, fucking get back. You can walk away from me.
Is the eye patch he's wearing one of yours?
Yes, that's an old eye patch of mine, a spoon eye patch, which I think Tyler Robinson, who was the production designer in the first movie, actually got for me as a gift long ago. And then there's actually just a spoon attached to, some elastic or something. It's extremely uncomfortable to wear, so poor Brew. There's actually the other eye patch is glued, the more comfortable one is glued under that, so it's not as painful for him, but I'm sure it was still a total pain in the ass.
Oh yeah, so this was day 2.
After we had been
After we'd
drinking
been
at the
drinking.
tavern all night with
with
the
most
silver
of these
screen
people.
muggers.
And it was actually pretty there's Sean. We surprised them this morning with the Sean Whalen appearance.
Yeah, thank God he showed up and kind of like, we were feeling a little bit rough and starting a little bit late, so thank God Sean could show up and everybody freaked out and they had a good time with that. So while we kind of, you know, slammed some Excedrin and got into it.
It was good though because the tone was perfect, but it was so misty and cold.
Misty and cold and wet and like,
and
but it's perfect for
miserable.
this scene. Like, it had been sunny like all the other days.
Yeah.
This would not have worked as cool at
No.
all.
Because we've got smoke there, but
Yeah, we've got that tube of death thing I was talking about earlier, but and Sean Whalen's character, Stanya, is back. Stacy's mom, dad, which was very fun. Him just teasing Art in the background. Because we were initially going to have Sean at the bar. And he was, yeah, there's Frank. Sean was going to be he was going to be another bartender with Nitro, and that whole scene at the Chug Hole is initially much longer, but due to scheduling and whatnot, everything's kept pushing and going around. Sean wasn't available that weekend, but then we got him up here for this, and this is like our one improv bit of the movie is Sean back there just talking shit to Art and agreeing with Mike,
Yes.
which was incredible. And Mike in this scene just killed it. I remember like, because he was
so sick.
He was so sick, and he was out at the tavern with us too, and I was like, oh God, I hope we didn't kill him or anything. And he shows up like take one and pretty much just nailed this.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
and it's
to a
not
T.
easy dialogue. I mean,
No,
as an actor, to do this is
3 pages of just, oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
Landon. He really just grabbed Landon without Landon knowing, and we know Landon well now, but that must have been a very interesting moment for him. There's Frank back there with Jeff Howell reining him in. Forklift.
Cliff.
There's no fucking votes. Listen, cabrones.
Art.
Oh, that bowler. It's a great bowler.
Yeah, that Bolo is bitching.
Old fucks. Bitches.
Oh, and the reason Frank's there is because our original
Challenge yourself.
forklift handler,
Tequilo, which
Tequilo,
Mike Lucas,
Mike
he
Lucas.
had a baby and could not make it, and he was like, yeah, I think my kid might be born like this week or the next week. I might be able to come down. I was like, don't you dare come down.
Yeah.
Have your child.
He was in Oregon at the time.
Yeah. And he's now like an assistant editor on the new Star Wars show, so he's doing
That's where
quite well.
FP can take you.
yeah, that's where this is what very talented people do on the weekends when they owe me favors for some reason.
People want to do this.
Yeah.
Like, it's interesting.
For some reason.
And then
I
we
never
trap
understand why.
them.
Yeah,
We're like, oh, sorry, you're stuck here now.
you're in it.
But we usually, we have a place to stay, and I think we provide good meals.
Yeah.
Back to the tunnel.
Yeah, and that's the actual riverbed leading up to the tunnel and actual Fraser Park. It's pretty as ever. Where you is, J-Tro.
Yeah. So that's
It's one of my
sad
it's one of my
face.
favorite art moments.
Yeah. Ugh.
The darkness has come.
Ugh. So good.
Yeah, and this place is just down the road from my dad's
Yeah,
place where
it's-
we shot. 'Cause we
it's
shot
like-
if you just go back in that canyon, that's where we shot.
Yeah.
I have no idea what the
That's
deal is
been
with this
there
place.
forever.
That's been abandoned ever since I was like in grade school up
And
there.
this production design is all done by the real Mama Trust.
Yeah, it's my real mom.
That's her real backyard.
Yeah, my grandma's place
Very
in
artistic.
yeah, in Van Nuys.
Mm-hmm.
This is very funny. It's our one like LA day. She started painting up and whipping up a storm in the backyard, and I was like,
Broom
"Holy
face,
crap,
I
mom!"
love it.
Broomface is great,
Broomface is fantastic.
and her cave wall made of that weird sort of fabric that you put on your cars to block out the sun from the windshield. Yeah, it was, the details that are going on in this set back here just blew my mind. We were walking in, I'm just like, "Mom, how did you do this?" And this was interesting because when I came over to my mom's house all the time, I never thought about it, but there's the Van Nuys airport nearby. So shooting in between planes taking off and landing was a pain in the ass that I swear I went over there for like a day or two before, no planes, whatever. And that for whatever
That's
reason,
what
that day we
happens.
shot, it was just
Or it's silent in the middle of nowhere, and then you start shooting, and a fire truck goes by.
absolutely every time.
Mm.
God. Yeah, and this was, again, just another 4-man day. I think it was Jordan with the
Yeah.
boom and Marcus and Brew and I. My mom's hanging out in the garage. in the green room, as she was calling it.
There was you. There was
And my mom did those paintings.
and even
She did.
Yeah, I gave her a crude sketch of what I was looking for, and then she whipped that up.
you know him by his street name now, AK-47. My old prison number. He jacked it for me just like he thinks everything was jacked for me. It's your bio, bro, J-Tro. I had enough brothers. Yet what happened to Mom?
Yeah, what did happen to Mom? Perhaps we'll find out in future installments.
She gave him life and shit.
Or not, who knows?
Each of us was furious. 187.
I was drawing. That's so funny to
So
me.
good.
Trust
I
me.
just love Broom. I want to know what happened to the Broom Man.
The Broom Man.
Yeah, see the Broom Man with the big googly
Mhm.
eyes?
Swallowed 18 fast
Yeah, Broom Man was that's next level. I've never seen Broom Man before. I wish I could take credit for Broom Man, but that's
No,
all my
that's
mom.
all Karen Trust.
Here now, J-Tro. Yeah, what the hell are we even gonna do, huh? Really fucked. The FB's gone.
A lot of talking.
Yeah, blah 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 blah. Exposition. There's the series. There they are.
Amazing.
Love those things. They're
So great.
and they're about as comfortable as they look, but they kick ass.
Oh,
Oh yeah, and this is the what my mom explained. This is like the lagoon, the pool area
Yes.
over here.
it is the lagoon. And this happened because we all got some wine and put this together in our garden one
Yes,
day.
the skeleton of chai
The
latte.
skeleton of chai latte. Which is
So many like
dope.
jewels
Like,
and rubies and
yeah.
things and gold and
it's so cool. Those
Sorry, no.
boots. Yeah, so this is
a Goonies skeleton.
yeah, those boots are they the motocross boots?
Yeah, we had to get those in from like Japan or something, and then Sarah, of course, obviously added a bunch of red fur and everything to tie it in with like your sort of ninja costume deal. But
This edit is one of my most favorite things.
yeah, this is something like I did my first pass attempt at this, and it just nearly killed me. And then my editor Nick Davis came in, and he really made this kick ass. Like this. It's so complicated how much math there is. Like everyone's like, let's do split screens, and you actually get into like the mathematical side of it, and then because you're doing split screens with wipes and all kinds of
Yeah.
shit going on. And I remember with our post house light iron when they were helping us color this, they're like, we don't know what to do with this. You're gonna have, so I had to go and export each and every one of these shots like fully to them so they could color it fully, and then take it back and basically re-edit the entire thing again after it was colored. So this sequence was a son of a bitch, but I love it. And the song is so fantastic.
It's so great.
Just so much is going on in this whole training montage. Just what we were spanning, like my mom's backyard, up at my dad's place, up in Lone Pine.
Yeah.
It's just going everywhere. And then like the old classic 80s movies, I don't know if you know this or not, but to get shiny in those old movies, they would spray Pam cooking oil on themselves because it just never goes away.
And that's what we did.
So when you do that and you shoot that, it's like, yeah, it's like the greasy Pam, like this is so gross look. And there's nothing grosser than then going home and trying to wash it off because it doesn't really want to come off.
Go off, yeah.
So yeah, that was
fun.
aerial shots of the dance up there, which is actually the same place where we shot you can see the fireplace where, but the mattresses have been taken away. But
How did you get that up there? Did you drag that up there
Yeah,
too?
yeah.
God.
generally the answer is how'd you get that up there is me dragging it up there in this whole movie. It definitely worked. People are like, what'd you do to work out in this movie? Just lots of physical labor.
I think we started with the Listerine is actually having Listerine in it too, and then we realized we could just put water in it and dye it blue.
I know we went to Powerade.
That's right, Powerade.
Yeah.
I knew we substitute, but you were legitimately drinking mouthwash.
I tried that for a minute.
That was pretty disgusting.
I don't know why that's the one thing I chose to go method with. And that's your classic, Rocky IV sort of montage helicopter shot over a mountain.
Oh, here's Jordan.
Jordan, who was also in Chughole, but we were too busy talking at the time.
I think we said he was there.
But yeah, he is, what is his name in this? Munchwad, which goes back to a time when we made these high school shorts together. He was a character named Munch. And it's like, this is what happens when FP people are deprived of booze. And that is also, which is funny, Jordan and I as the ninja was. So we're,
Soon, right?
no, it's me and Jordan. So he's talking to himself, which is great. I always love when that happens.
Yo, kick it.
Upgraded slingshot.
Mhm.
My dad has this crazy softball slingshot in the barn, and Just had to do it.
Kid.
Nice pee gag. Those are always fun. Get that camel pack in the leg and start squirting it out.
I feel like this was like the first scene I shot.
This was the first
Yeah.
scene you shot. I mean, aside from like you like looking out of crowds and things like that, I think this is your first dialogue scene. And this was part of that big day where we did all those scenes.
All this shit's your fault.
And then pregnant.
Of course.
Both turned out
Yeah. Pregnant, you know, what was it? A pillow, pregnant belly thing that's strapped to your body.
Yeah, I really endowed that pillow.
Yeah.
We looked at ordering one, but I just don't think it was worth it.
Devil swallowing shit.
Yeah, and the Jatro Lives thing is actually painted on an old shitty set wall that's falling apart from the first FP movie in the 248 HQ, so that's funny.
I just love that all of that was still there 10 years later.
I know, it's insane. And getting all those bottles and hooking up the old trampoline springs and spray painting them red. Like, there's so many little Jordan and I really went at it like one weekend on this set. Just wheelbarrowing piles of junk together and trying to make it make sense within the world.
Bill Jatro?
fair dinkum.
What you feel?
Fair dinkum, great Australian expression.
Yeah. Because, yeah, this was definitely, because this was Adrian's first time putting the makeup on you, too, and everything. We're like, that looks awesome.
I'm glad we did that because we did all the hand stuff too. That slowly went away because it was so time consuming.
Yeah.
Oh, I love this sunset.
Yeah, so you have to, driving up here is like, we had to throw everyone in, like, the back of a pickup truck and drive up to this lookout that looks over the FP, and, like, the sun's going away, and you have to shoot it just the right time.
It was
Sunset, and we
perfect.
somehow did it.
Was not expecting the unexpected.
But you never know how those are going to go when you first try it. My favorite thing here is that the sunset, you can tell we didn't fake it. The sunset's actually reflecting in his spoon eye patch.
Yeah,
Maybe these old
that smoke is put in there.
Yeah, Bronick put that smoke in there because shit's tough in the FP.
And like classic, nobody is ever on this mountain, but when we're there are two guys in this massive truck.
And they just drive by, and then
Oh,
instead of going about their business, whatever it is they were going to do, they just stop and watch you. And it's like,
go away.
I never understand.
I love those two costumes together.
Yeah, that was because that was one of the first times I think Brew and I did a scene together. Was that day?
Yes. Oh, this scene. So there's a recycling plant here.
Yeah, it turns out because this is a bridge.
Oh, and then that's Neveldine
Yeah, it's Mark Neveldine, one of the directors of the Crank films, which is very funny to me.
and Dan.
And Dan the man. And so this bridge is in the FP, and it's right next to Don's Liquor Mart. And we're like, oh, cool, whatever. And we scout it out. Everything looks cool. Everything's fine. For some reason, when we chose to shoot, they're recycling and doing the recycling things. But it's not just like recycling the way you think about it. There's like literally throwing glass bottles at a wall or something for the entirety of the scene. So trying to shoot the sound in between them.
That was insane.
A bunch of hicks just throwing glass bottles at walls for some reason. That's their way of recycling in the FP. This was something else. And in the scene, we had like a card issue or something at some point. We had to go back and shoot this scene like twice.
I was on the
different
boom
times.
for this, and I'm the shortest person alive.
Yeah, this scene was oddly a pain in the butt, but I really like it in the end. But
I think you've had to go back.
yeah, we had to go back. That's what I'm saying. Like there was a
Oh,
card
sorry.
issue, and
and give the booze back to the people before we leave this town to other.
sometimes shit happens, and
It does.
here we were.
Yeah, man. Just get to the point, DC.
Yeah, because I think doing there in my coverage, I'm doing it. There's nobody there. It's just me and Marcus, I think. We had to go back and reshoot my coverage there, and yeah, the fun things that happen.
There are also cars driving over that bridge.
Mm-hmm. They never do until you shoot. I love KCDC's Resistance outfit, which is also a carryover from the Indiegogo thing we shot for the first teaser
Give a
way
fuck,
back
save
when.
a duck?
Yes, give a fuck, save a duck.
Ah,
At the
so we're
mines.
back at the mines.
It's all going down.
We just had this fantasy of putting a pregnant woman on a beep beep pad, and I didn't think it would be me.
Yeah, but that was a note early on.
that
We
was
really
a
wanted that.
Strong note.
I love this, seeing all these weirdos running around together.
What the fuck is she doing? She's challenging AK-47 as we.
God, and this was shot in such a strange way because of everyone's schedules. Because, you know, everyone has, like, you know, real jobs and things. So trying to get everyone in the same place at once almost never happens. So we'd have to shoot stuff with like me and Art and Brew at certain times, and other things with the crowd and things without the crowd. And like this whole sequence of the mines was shot over like 5 days, but like even if it was only a couple hours here, a couple hours there, but it was pieced together in such a interesting way. I'm surprised it even cuts together at all. Oh my goodness. So I think this is your mom's favorite line in the film here.
Oh God.
Fuck your name is. I challenge you to a
His delivery is so great.
Yeah,
tell you to
he really means it. He's going for it.
greenlight you.
He's just got like dirt chest. And,
Oh, dirt teeth.
yeah. Oh yeah, because Mike had to have
There
this
we go.
gnarly,
This is the line.
gross teeth. Yeah, it's the line. Gnarly, gross teeth, dirtying things, which he said tasted like surgery.
Poor Mike.
I know. Mike really went through it on this one. He's a good sport about it, though.
He was, and he just
He
owned
kept showing
it.
up, which was
Yeah.
awesome.
I love
For
his
sure,
laugh
yeah.
too. That was all him.
I was like, I remember like after we shoot the
There's
first
Shane.
half, I'm like, is he ever gonna come back? Or we're gonna have to like put like a robot helmet over his head or something and cast somebody else as we scare him away. But no, Mike came back and just kept kicking ass. I think this was actually the first stuff that we shot with the Silver Screen Muggers, and they showed up on day one. Was this stuff here? Which was their intro to the
I do
FP
not
world.
remember. But I remember I had to get up at 5 to go and get them because to get to Jason's dad's property is kind of a mission. You can't just tell people how to get there.
No.
And they were all staying at the Motel 6 in Fraser Park, and I was so nervous because I didn't know what to expect. And I walked into the lobby, and they were all just like dressed in their FP costumes, and it was so amazing. And then we all carpooled to the farm. But I remember calling you and being like, "It's gonna be okay."
Yeah, that's fine. But we're preparing so much other stuff at that time. Like, I don't just make it take longer. I don't care. I know it's Fridge Boy Ryan
Yep.
Gibson again as H1N1. God, these fucking pads have really seen
Oh,
it.
they've been.
I
worked
break
out.
the one in one of these shots, like when it snapped like one of the arrows in a minute here. Yeah, now if you can spy, there's Mortal Kombat spikes from the pit on the outside of the arena on this. If you're really looking close. Yeah,
Was
well,
that improvised?
yes, and I think if we could ever get the stuff from behind the camera, there's so much shit that I scream
Yeah,
at
that's
Mike
true.
to say, and because I'm always a big fan. No one else wants to do it, but I'm a big fan of making other people make fun of my eye patch, and they always feel uncomfortable and weird about it. I'm like, no, do it. Luke, sick, and kill.
I also think those boots were too big for Mike.
Yeah, but I think it
They really
actually,
punished
yeah, we
him
did punish him, but it
unintentionally.
definitely it gave him a different sort of,
Yeah, gait.
posture and gait that I really enjoy. And he's finally beginning to re-ninge. We go into this crazy 80s or like 90s music video anime filter. Which I remember the guy we had coloring the movie was like, we had to slowly get him on board with how crazy we wanted to do this because this whole movie is like pretty much technically wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's the one who found this filter. He started doing everything like, pretty much by the book with coloring. And then we got him and broke him, I guess, into such a way that he got so into what we were doing that he just found that filter one night. Oh, and I broke the pad. And finally it's time.
I feel like that's with everyone, like actors too. They come the first day and you're kind of like, that's great, but now do it like you're in the FP.
Yeah, it's okay to go crazy.
Yeah.
It's okay to do what's technically wrong, generally. And it's hard to, because everyone here is they're professionals, so it's hard to be like, let's do it a little differently. We're having fun.
But then it's still serious. So
Yeah.
it's, yeah.
Yeah, I remember with like, famously, I remember Brew, I had dinner with him in Nitro, and he was like, how do you want me to do this? Like, am I supposed to be doing this like a comedy, or is this funny? I'm like, no, this isn't a comedy to you. Like, I said, every scene, I'm like, I want you to be pretending like you're in Braveheart. And that's the level of seriousness. Oh yeah, that BJ's brainchild
Yeah,
here, that
I
shot.
love
And he
that.
he dug a hole and got down low into it just so we could get that shot of me jumping up over the camera. And if you actually see how high I had to jump to do that, I can't even believe it.
And you had to do that a few times.
Oh yeah, it's never in the first take. And the cups just came up at the right time, and that was a whole.
That was a whole thing.
But yeah, those are shots when it's like.
There's Frank.
I think we actually did that in the last day when there was nobody else around. Then we just like spent a whole last day shooting, just fucking around, doing silly shit. I think the jump kick shenanigans was the last day too. You can tell that's when we just kind of like lost our minds and didn't have to account for anything, or we weren't responsible for anybody, so we just kept fucking around.
We got so much done this weekend.
Yeah, it's insane to think about, but KCDC's back with his microphone. All is well in the FP. Until
no one goes down that easy.
Never in the FP world.
Nope.
It's never a one and done.
Which John Carpenter, was it a John Carpenter movie that inspired this battle?
Well, I mean, there's definitely some They Live in here, but what inspired this end battle the most is the end fight of Rocky V, where Stallone is fighting Tommy the Gun out in the streets, and this whole thing kind of goes down, and it's very similar in vibe and tone, and then towards the end of this fight, it transitions into Liu Kang defeating Shang Tsung at the end of Mortal Kombat 1. So there's a lot of shit going on here. Like anything that I do with these, it's just everything I've ever liked or known and just thrown into a blender.
And all of those bottles were just on the ground.
Oh, God.
It was
Yeah, there was a
the
lot of booze bottles
enthusiasm
everywhere.
with which people...
Yeah, they would just pick up booze bottles off the ground, just go to work with them.
It's incredible.
Yeah, you can start seeing Mike's wig going off. Oh, and Alec, this is one of my favorite bits.
That's my favorite!
That's my favorite reaction of someone in this movie. Like, where did that come from? I love it. Frank Sanders. He's all over the place in these things.
Said that Forklift was also our still photographer.
Oh,
The photos
yeah.
you see.
And he's
That is Jeff.
yeah, he is an incredible still photographer.
Yes.
And he just so a lot of times Forklift's just carrying a camera around. And he tucks that inside of his chains and fur.
And that's also why we have
The
some of
only reason we have
footage,
special
yeah.
features basically with behind the scenes stuff is because he was secretly just shooting things on his iPhone. And now here we are with a Blu-ray, thanks to Forklift. This is definitely Rocky V stuff. We got, Mickey coming in here, which is Vitro. I just love how his gloves sparkle.
Me
with
too.
The lens flares, the star filter and all that in the daylight here. As they swing, like, sparkle.
Wake up and be all the ninjas you could be.
Yeah, Sarah just added so many awesome sparkles and details to all this shit.
Yes, I like that move
Oh,
too.
that
And
move- that's also Alex.
That's also Alex's.
Alex, he's killer, but everyone in the background, their motivation here for me was like the backgrounds in Street Fighter 2 when people are doing just impossible. Like I also like Ryan over there
Oh,
too.
yeah,
He's
with the
driving
wheel.
the steering wheel, and he also is like he honks on it too. And you're looking, I love the Street Fighter 2 style people in the background. It's like, what are you doing? And yeah, they're killing it. And I think on the other side, it's either Alex or Ryan that then pull out these tube arms and like a wacky inflatable playing tube man at some point, and that one's pretty great. Oh, you got your fingers there.
Oh yeah.
Tube man's over to the left. I don't know if we ever really catch him.
Ugh.
Oh, there he is. Tube monster man.
You have to pause for
Yeah,
that.
you have to pause for tube man, but tube man's pretty great. Okay, now this is the thing last day we're like, fuck it. We spent like an hour or two just doing all of this shit because
dress up the dummy.
and those legs aren't my real legs. I was holding like broomsticks and pushing in with BJ with the camera to put the costume on it, and that's a dummy. And then that's real Mike. But yeah, we dressed up the dummy. Yeah, we were doing all kinds of stupid shit that final day. We just kind of didn't want it to end.
We're hermanos. But bro.
And this was shot completely another day, and all of that shit. We're all over the place here. And there's the Mortal Kombat spikes right behind his head there. If you want a good look at those from the pit.
Yeah, I hear BP prison is chill this time of year.
Oh, Beat Beat Prison. I wonder what Baco is all about. Might have to tune in next week on the FP movies to figure that out. And there's just so much shit in the ground that we had. Like,
Yeah.
this was just like a living, breathing trash heap.
I mean, it's very hazardous.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. See, that's one of my favorite lines I
Yes.
think I've ever done. For some reason, to me, it's extremely funny. And this was awesome. I love Shane, everybody. Like, this was so great. Like,
So
this
great.
moment was like the apex, everyone having such a good time.
Like, I want everyone in our movies now all the time.
I know. And Jatro can't take it, it's too much. All right. Our final Reinenge world.
Oh, there's the fly.
Yep, there's the
Yeah.
fly. There's fucking
I
flies.
knew there was one in particular.
They're always there. Well, we had fly problems in the first FP too. You can definitely see them on that one. Like, it's a very fly-filled mountain. This is definitely after the Mortal Kombat scene where Liu Kang finally says goodbye to his brother. It's definitely the inspiration for this scene.
Love it.
Yeah, I just love how shitty like 1970s, 80s kung fu fantasy movie these sequences feel.
Peace, bro. Me and Mom will be waiting for you.
Oh, Mom Tro.
Mom Tro.
She's proud of your ass.
And I think he's going to do another one of his, the famous walk into the green screen here.
Mm-hmm.
See how far he gets. He got about
He did
that
pretty
far.
well, yeah.
And he gets sent away. That was a brilliant thing that Bronick did. He
Mhm.
just warped them away.
UFP ninjas have a tough time staying
Now, this was a similar thing as well,
Yeah.
where we had to. I don't know what I was saying. I'm sorry.
Yeah, the pulling me up
Pulling
here.
you
And
up.
there was a whole, like,
Oh,
was a very
there's the whole
complicated shot.
makeout thing as well. So
Oh,
we
yeah.
had to.
Be careful when we did that, obviously, and plan
Mhm.
that again. Like the last thing. Actually, I think we did that before lunch, so then you could be
That's right.
adjusted during lunch.
It's ours.
Shane is always killing it back
He
there.
is. Everyone is killing
Yeah.
it back there.
Say,
Aww.
Brew
Bruce
La.
so good.
see always
I love Brew.
Love
He's the sweetest person ever.
He is.
Always impossibly good attitude.
Hmm.
Very optimistic.
proud of you.
Everyone always thinks that he's the actor from Lord of the Rings and 300.
Yes,
And so many
yes.
times I get like, how'd you get that guy in this movie? I'm like, I didn't. It's Brew.
We should just go with it.
Yeah, we should just go with it. Brew would love that.
Yes, that's pretend kissing.
Mm-hmm.
That's not real kissing.
Because we can't kiss for real yet because we still need to shoot other parts of the scene.
That's right.
Until now, then we have to kiss and fuck up the makeup until after lunch, so then we can go into the Chrome Dome, which is that green building back there.
Holy moly.
Yeah, or the slow-mo thing.
Oh,
was
yeah.
definitely a big, like, go around, get all the extras in there, and
Uh-huh.
get all the silver screen muggers and give them all their moment. And BJ just kind of floated around with the camera and found moments and people. And
Yeah, having a Steadicam operator was incredible.
yeah, because he'd have to wear that thing for like 12 hours a day at least, and it's like this giant, heavy, just monstrosity. I don't know how he does it.
Michael Lee.
Mhm. Everyone's giving the illusion that they're having a very good time.
I like that from the end of the bottle. That was a good creative solution.
Yeah, right.
Kitty hiss.
I think one of my favorite things one of the silver screen muggers did is when we were going into the mines. Someone is digging, and you get a blink or you'll miss it, but they're digging, and then they out of the ground find a bottle as if they're just digging for bottles of booze that
That's
grow out of the ground.
hilarious.
I just thought that was one of the funniest things I'd seen.
You can drink when you're pregnant in the FP.
Oh, of course.
That's fine. Just extra juice.
Well, yeah, you're allergic to wet shit, but booze is all good. So
Yeah.
it's evolution. Shit changed. Art just having the time of his life there.
Aw,
Ladies,
ladies.
suck it. Love the suck it on
Me
lips
too.
face. Classic Jordan.
Yep. Frank.
Oh,
Oh, yeah,
Frank.
Frank.
Yeah, Frank just
It was
demanded that he would like took his shirt. It was
freezing.
freezing, and Frank's like, "Fuck it, I'll do it," and just takes the mouthwash and just pours it down. Or I guess it was Powerade at that point, and he poured that whole bottle out, which takes a lot longer than you think. Like the
Yes.
full unedited take of that is it's pretty impressive. And then he like puts it down his pants and like high fives. I
yeah.
think on the special features actually you'll see it. Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah. And that was the leg stretch. You'll see
Mhm.
that in the deleted
Of
scene
course.
also.
We actually put that's actually a good point about
Mhm.
the danger of the set. Like the what is it, the strainer over there and the little
Yes.
fan piece. We put those on the edges so that we wouldn't actually hit them
Yeah.
when going in and out of them, so that we knew that they were there as like little bumpers because we were worried that we were going to impale ourselves.
That
This was
was
so awesome. I love doing
I love doing that.
I love ending a movie with a freeze frame. We got to get pretty much everyone that was involved in one shot. Like,
But don't go anywhere yet, in case for some reason you're watching
yes,
this before you watch the movie.
or for some reason, if you have watched the movie and you just
you
click off
thought
the credits,
oh,
there's
that's it.
definitely something after the credits that will lead to the next films.
Yes.
Our silver screen muggers, our Omega gangsters, and the Omega gangsters were the people who like
Yeah.
they're like even above producers in the Indiegogo world. They got the bitchin' perk.
Mm-hmm.
Background peeps.
But you can see, I mean, I'm amazed that we made this go for so long, but there's
Yeah.
really not that many.
Yeah, like okay, for instance, right here.
Yeah.
Here's the crew.
Yes.
Very rarely are all those people on set at once,
Mm-hmm.
and that's pretty much it. And then post production's like crazy because all those people like we worked with one colorist, but here's a bunch of people that work there that
Yeah.
engineer blah blah blah.
And they cut us a good deal.
Yeah, really
Light
good
iron
deal.
are expensive, but somehow, I think Marcus,
Yeah,
us
Marcus
up
hooked
with
us up with that.
the pilot unit, are the people who shot the first
Like 30 minutes. Yeah.
Because initially we were going to do this as a TV show.
Yeah. And those are our original songs
Mm-hmm. Which are
from
great.
Jordan
Thank
Spillane
you.
and his boys, which I love. And now the special thanks. This is everyone who contributed basically to the Indiegogos over time. So this is going to take forever. I think this is why the credits are like 3 minutes long. It's pretty
It's
much
like that thing Zach Braff did. Do you remember that? And he like crowdfunded it, and then like half of his credits are just saying thank you to people who donated like $1.
yeah, sure. Yeah, I think you should. Like,
Yeah.
without all of these names here, this movie would not exist. So the least we can do is put their name in the credits. Oh man,
Oh man.
they just go. And thank God the credit program I used actually puts things
In
alphabetical
alphabetical
order
order,
for you
yeah.
because Jesus God,
And I remember some people specifically wanted their names or their
handles or
yeah,
yeah,
like
God knows.
Flashy 50254.
Yeah, God knows what it means, but it means something to them.
Here's to you,
Here it is
T-Swag.
to you, Light Iron, the one and only little
Yeah,
at the end of the credits.
the one professional.
Usually have all these other things like unions and all that shit, but
Oh
not
no,
here.
no! Stay away. No, thank you.
Not here. FP2 Beats of Rage.
We did it. It's 2019 now.
It is
When did we
2019 now.
start filming that?
What, like the pilot unit or
Yeah,
that was the end of 2017.
2017. Yeah,
That's been an odyssey.
it has been.
Well, I think now you're into the end credit scene, and I'm gonna leave you with this end credit scene. Just who you see at the end. That's also my little sister,
Yes.
Samantha. But I think we should leave you with this end scene to watch, and I don't want to talk too much about it because I don't want to blow what's coming up in the next movies.
Thanks for watching the movie.
Thanks so much for watching the movie and listening to us ramble for almost 90 minutes. Thanks, guys. Peace.
Peace.
But Re Ninja's our god. You heard?